Mission Impossible 8 Final Dead Reckoning Part 2 is a spy movie about a 60-year-old senior citizen who is still so jacked that he forces the script to have him running around in his underpants for the entire movie. Mission Impossible 8 Final Dead Reckoning Part 2 is the greatest thriller of an action movie that is gonna have you slumping in your chair, waiting for this 3-hour movie to finally get over with. The movie is just too long, with somehow too little action in it. No thrilling car chases, no climbing the tallest building in the world, no fight scenes that are really gonna wow you. Of course, we're always gonna give credit to Tom Cruise's renowned practical stunts, but even when they're big climactic plane chases happening at the end, it doesn't really hit like it used to in the good old days. Because the difference between a Mission Impossible movie and, well, a Red Bull ad is that there is a hero within a story with tension driving the action and the stunts. And if the script puts in the work to make us invested, that's when all of the movie magic is gonna come in full swing. But when the story loses us, it just sort of becomes action for action's sake, because we don't have any sort of connection to the story, which we definitely have happened in Mission Impossible 8 Final Dead Reckoning Part 2, because not only does this movie have the most bloated, jumbled, incoherent plot, but Ethan Hunt is up against completely unrelatable and shallow adversaries, as he tries to replace the epicness of a villain like Solomon Lane and Henry Cavill with an evil, generic, faceless AI, and this guy who's in the movie for like 5 minutes. And spoilers, accidentally hits himself in the balls before killing himself.
One of us has a parachute! Good luck!
And what is the motivation for our antagonists? What do they do to make us lock in? Well, evil ChatGPT wants to blow up the planet because why not? And the other dude, he wants to control ChatGPT because why not? So even when we have these big, huge stunts happening on screen, the film's gonna struggle to get us to care, which all stems from piss poor writing. But as I'm saying this, I can imagine that your response may be that I'm just being so unreasonable for wanting quality writing in a dumb action series like Mission Impossible. But first off, I want to ask why we should be holding our films to such low standards that we accept bad writing, especially when they spend $400 million in order to make this movie. And if the story of a Mission Impossible movie just doesn't matter, why does the film dedicate so much time in exposition? Because even if you don't believe that the plot matters, the writers certainly do, as they put in so much effort in explaining the story, even though they do a real bad job of it. Like we have this scene where a character is explaining an event that happened in the previous movie that then switches to a flashback of another character telling us about that same event in the previous movie, only to then do another flashback of showing us that same event that the previous flashback was already telling us about. It's a bit redundant, very clunky, but also now you know why this movie is 3 hours long. But let's go back to the point about being fine with bad writing in blockbusters, because I would like to point out that I just cannot believe it's a coincidence that both the highest rated Mission Impossible movie and the highest grossing Mission Impossible movie just so happens to also be the one with the most competently written script. So even with a movie in a blockbuster action genre, if you're gonna set out to make one of those, you're gonna be really doing yourself a huge favor by focusing on creating a quality plot. I know it's a lot easier said than done, but if you don't, you are certainly gonna be losing lots of fans and loads of money if your plot boils down to needing to connect two MacGuffins together to form a key that you then have to take to a sunken submarine to then unlock another MacGuffin that you have to go take to another Egg McMuffin that you then use to stop the ultimate AI MacGuffin from launching every nuke on the planet to save the world by trapping all of the ultimate AI McMuffin evil ChatGPT thing into a flash drive.
That's just lazy writing.
And to make the script even better, you have the plot pasted together through some of the most insane contrivances of Ethan Hunt sporadically jumping out of a helicopter into the Arctic Ocean, only to coincidentally run into some scuba divers at the exact same time he needs to be saved. Oh, and also this leads to a scene of someone explaining how a human being just cannot exit a submarine without the proper equipment, only for Ethan to do just that by later swimming 700 feet underwater in the Arctic Ocean in just his underwear.
And you must be out of your mind.
What exactly was the plan if we hadn't shown up?
You know, I really hadn't thought that far ahead.
So I wish I could say that Mission Impossible is ending on a high note, that it's bringing the series to a satisfying conclusion, giving us all the adrenaline and heart that one can ask for, but it's simply a muddled mess of terrible dialogue and pathetic writing that can make watching a movie about dudes jumping out of airplanes and defusing bombs somehow feel like a chore.
Thanks for watching
DUCKFINDER.
on YouTube. For more premium content, subscribe.
Just like the simulation.